That is one very good thing about the internet. It never forgets at all. In 2012, when former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was in power, things were moving fine. Dollar was below 200, fuel was below 200, a bag of rice was below 30,000. Jonathan decided that there is need to remove fuel subsidy, and he decided to remove fuel subsidy. Professor Wale Soyinka, former President Muhammadu Buhari, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Senator Adams Oshomole, Dr. Odumaki, Falana SAN, Omoyele Sowore, and Pastor Enoch Adeboye all took to the streets of Lagos to protest against Jonathan removing the subsidy, including Pastor Tunde Bakali. All of them came out at the streets of Lagos to protest against Jonathan, a president that was doing well, a president that is giving Nigerians what they needed. It never ended there. Professor Wale Soyinka went on to describe Jonathan as being worse than Nebuchadnezzar. He forgot that Jonathan is barely 2 years in office. He went on to criticize, to countermount Jonathan. Is there anything that Jonathan did in his 6 years in office that this administration have not done just in 2 years? You could imagine, fuel is now about 960 naira. A bag of rice is now 96,000 naira. Dollar is up to 1,500. But the professor is nowhere to be found. We are in search of the professor, but we cannot find the professor. During the 2023 presidential election at Lagos, so many Igbos were not allowed to vote. So many people, their head were broken. The professor was nowhere to be found. The professor was mute. The professor never commented. After the election that was adjudged by many as not free and not also fair, the election that so many people described as one of the worst elections ever conducted in the history of Nigeria, the youths were complaining. The obedient movement were also complaining. And Nigerians were also complaining how the election was conducted, that it was never free and fair. Instead of the professor, a Nobel laureate for that matter, someone that is being respected in the entire world, instead of him to come out and say the truth, he started attacking the obedient movement. In fact, he described them as Bajuists. He never ended there. He also called them fascists. Mind you, the obedient movements are not in power. They are just youths, Nigerian youths across the country who don't like the way the country is going. But the professor was fast enough to describe them as Baju. Today in Nigeria, the country is passing through a lot. There is insecurity. Prices of food, commodity and goods in the market have all skyrocketed. The price of fuel have also skyrocketed. Dollar today is now American wonder. What about healthcare? Our healthcare is decaying on daily basis. People can no longer eat. People cannot even go to farm because there is insecurity. What about governance? Governance have collapsed in Nigeria. Yet, the professor is not talking. Yet the professor is nowhere to be found. Just look at what happened in Rivers. Instead of the professor to come out and give a direct statement, he was only saying that the president was given excessive power in the constitution. Mind you, this is a professor that fought for democracy in 1993 alongside President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and former President Muhammadu Buhari. Today, his kinsman is in power. He is comfortable with it. But he is not saying anything about the way and manner Natasha was suspended for 6 months from the National Assembly. And a democratically elected governor, Governor Sim Fubara, was also suspended for 6 months under the watch of this professor. But the professor is not talking. The other day, the professor paid the president a courtesy visit. After that visit, he was being interviewed. He was being asked, why is it that you are not saying anything about the leadership system or the leadership style of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? The professor replied, I will give my assessment about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu after 1 year. By next month, being 29th May 2025, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be 2 years in office. The professor is not talking. The professor is nowhere to be found. The professor is still waiting for 1 year. Maybe the professor's 1 year is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 4 years in office. Who knows? But the professor was quick and fast enough to assess President Donald Trump of the United States of America. According to the professor, he said, I am saddened by the happenings in America. Oh, what a man, what a professor, a Nobel laureate. You are assessing America and Donald Trump of the United States of America that is giving aid and assistance to Nigeria. But you are not talking about your own president in Nigeria. You are shying away from commenting about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Did you see what happened in America earlier this week? The mother of all protests in the United States of America, where about millions of people came out to protest about President Donald Trump of the United States of America. And according to reports, over 50 cities in the United States of America took part in that protest. Did you see the police? Did you ever see them shooting tear gas, shooting people or fighting people that are protesting against Donald Trump of the United States of America? But what happened in Abuja? What happened in Lagos? You saw police fighting people that are peacefully protesting against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What a country. This is where I am going to stop. We are still waiting for the professor to comment.